You can argue that Reagan is undoubtedly the best president during the era of the Cold War. As former actor and California governor, he achieved many things that ultimately improved the country both domestically and abroad, especially after the two presidents he preceded have not been the best of the best in the history of the United States. Need proof? Well, of course you do. Who wouldn't need proof after a statement like that was made? Let's talk about his domestic policy first. Reagan entered the presidency when the American economy was the worst it had been since the Great Depression of the 1930s. So he obviously had to do something, right? Well, he did. It's called Reaganomics. He cut taxes, so much in fact that the government barely collected anything from its citizens. He reduced government spending and deregulated the economy into free market-based economy. This resulted in a long and strong economic boom driven by the greatest bull market ever seen on Wall Street since the 1920s. As if that's not enough, Reagan also placed keeping people safe at the top of the list of changes he intended to make in the country. After some time, due to bickering and bantering by the arguably most powerful branch in the United States, Congress finally passed the Comprehensive Criminal Control Act. This act served to lengthen the sentence of people who committed dangerous crimes. I'm going to kill you with a spoon. Why are you going to kill me with a spoon? Because you're a nerd. Oh. Restricted the use of the insanity plea. Yay. I plead insanity. YOLO. And toughened penalties for drug dealers, robbers, and other common crimes. This was followed by the reduction of the number of households being hit by crime in the later years by over 2 million. Still not convinced? Well, that's not all. Reagan also increased federal spending for basic low-income assistance programs by 40%, and he initiated a plan to fight the growing epidemic of HIV and AIDS, committed billions of dollars of research towards finding a cure for HIV and AIDS, in addition to making it easier for victims of HIV and AIDS to get drugs, and was also the first president and administration who prosecuted criminal polluters by establishing a special unit in the Department of Defense dedicated to that type of crime. So you can thank him next time you go outside and breathe in the fresh, cold, unpolluted air of freedom. Unless you're in Los Angeles. And good luck breathing. For all those Reagan's presidency was later nicknamed the Great Prosperity, for obvious reasons, duh. But what about abroad? What did he do in terms of foreign affairs? Well, I'm glad you asked. He destroyed, yes, I mean completely destroyed, communism. And the USSR. He made a huge effort at battling communism and stood firm against the Soviet Union. He called the Soviets the evil empire.
And label both sides equally at fault. To ignore the facts of history and the aggressive impulses of an evil empire, to simply call the arms race a giant misunderstanding, and thereby remove yourself from the struggle between right and wrong and good and evil.
And ordered Gorbachev to tear down the Berlin Wall, separating East and West Germany. His effort and the mere threat of his Star Wars Strategic Defense Initiative program caused the collapse of the Soviet Union.
We will win this for Mother Russia!
And with that collapse, the end of the Cold War. No longer would be part of the American public school system because there is no more threat of nuclear war. He also greatly increased the U.S. military budget, troop levels, and the amount of weapons and equipment the military has, in addition to greatly improving the country's intelligence program. This ensured America would remain a world military superpower. If you are at this point not convinced that Reagan is the most successful president of the Cold War era, or at the very least a very successful president, and I quote, well then you are not very smart because logic dictates that he is.